All right, I hope I'm not completely out of place with this one. I thought that, hey, because this is going to be a bridal banner, I figured I'd at least dress up a little appropriate to fit the occasion. But welcome back, everybody, to the channel. We're going to be reviewing the new bridal banner. It's called Bridal Grace. The only thing that I've noticed of this so far, and you won't be able to see it right now, but if you've watched the video, you probably have. It's a 2.5 minute long video, a little bit more than that. So I'm a little confused as to what could be here. I think there's something up, but I'm not too sure. I really don't know what to think. Oh boy. All right, let's get into it then. Something has to be up, and I don't know what. I'm closing my eyes right now, just preemptively. I need to do this every time. I mean, it's not a big deal, I think, but whatever. Okay.
Ah, a couple in love, bound together by a holy vow.
Oh,
it is a magnificent thing.
Okay. I actually didn't recognize Saul at first, so it's whatever. Sea Dual Cavalry. What? Okay. Interesting. And he also has a perf too. All right, sure, why not? Oh, Shanna, that's who that was. Okay.
What do you think of the dress? Good? Too good?
Okay, I definitely didn't expect that to be Shanna. I think a lot of the things that were in my mind were like Hinoka or Tanya for this one, so...
Here comes the
sure.
bride.
All right. And yeah, that's just near trace. Understandable, I guess. Oh, Juno?
Once
I believe?
again, I am dressed as a bride, and it makes me just as happy as it did the first time.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. And she's the demote as well. Okay, understandable. I mean, I don't mind that, that's for sure. And who's a harmonic? Oh my god, of course it is. Fucking Christ. Oh boy.
How do I look? Like a true bride. You're the
Axe
best.
flyer though? Wow. Okay. Sure, I guess. Wait, 2 people with attack defense near trace? Or am I dumb?
By your side.
Okay. Wait, Celica, why are you there? I'm so confused. Oh, wait, hold up. This is Echo's Catria. Oh,
You
god
look
damn it.
radiant, as
I
do
actually
you.
have to pull? Are you fucking kidding me? I have no orbs!
Wait for me.
No way.
You're
They
not
really
alone.
decided to pull out Echo's Catria again.
We bring love.
I definitely didn't. I didn't expect that. That's for sure. In any capacity. So. Wow. Okay. I see how it is. I don't recognize who that is. I'm actually dumb. Oh god. All right. Time to see who that is exactly. Oh, that was actually it. Oh, so yeah, because it takes a long time to look at the harmonic stuff. I keep forgetting that sort of thing. Because whenever they show off like the duo or harmonic stuff, it takes like a while to show off the effect, which is like, okay, sure. I see how it is. All right. Before we get to Saul, I just wanted to quickly check who it was. It's, oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's Zealot, of course. He's the free, yeah, of course, because Juno is the one trying to be a bride again. So yeah, it makes sense that Zealot's a free unit. Cool. I didn't actually expect a binding blade bridal banner. That's interesting. That's for sure. All right. So Saul, I definitely didn't recognize him at first. I think it was just because I don't know. I guess the hair didn't really give it away that easily to me. Oh well. He's a cavalry healer, so I mean, take that as you will. But oh wait, no, it's not a perf. Okay, it's just a new inheritable staff. Let's start with that then. Observant staff plus. If unit is within 3 spaces of 2 allies in a support partner pair, excluding unit, he gets all 6 stats, or it's +6 to all stats during combat, and neutralizes foes' bonuses. Wow, that's like. That's basically a lull, but better, in a way. But you're having to deal with the that weird gimmicky condition that Nina had for her bow. Is that you had to be nearby to 2 allies in a support partner pair. I believe it's the same restriction too. Something, I believe it's 3 for Nina as well. So it's like, I don't remember what her full thing is, so it's like whatever. But I like the idea of having foe bonuses getting neutralized, and then you also get +6 while stats during combat. I think that just makes a lot of sense overall, so I don't mind that. So then he also has Return Plus. That makes sense. I mean, it's actually kind of funny because Sarah's already on a banner right now for the joint drives. So, I mean, if you really wanted to get Return Plus, that was literally the best chance, although I don't know if you really want to pull on 2 separate banners to try to go for the same skill. But, I mean, if you want to, go ahead. All right. Deluge Bomb Plus. He also has Odd Recovery, so if you've been looking for that and you weren't able to get yourself Sephiron when that first happened, here you go. And Sea Cavalry 4. I don't think I really need to say too much for this. It's just Cavalry 4, or at least a tier 4 dual skill, but for colorless cavalry, which is definitely interesting. That now makes it so that you can use a lot more units in your core that are this category. I don't quite remember exactly, and I have to check this right now. I want to see what Legendary Leaf actually scores at with his innate legendary status, because I don't quite remember if he's like 175 or not. Yeah, he is 175, so he doesn't need this actually. So I guess you could say that might be our Leaf, sure. But I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot of other colorless cavalry units that a good amount of people have built up. I mean, stuff like, well, Brave Veronica, Brave Lynn, etc. I don't think I need to go on about who everybody has. But this will definitely help out, especially if, I mean, for example, you have all the additional stats. Even if you're not using them necessarily for Arena, you might be using them for something like Pawns of Loki or whatever. I couldn't quite say exactly who really immediately comes to mind, but I mean, this sort of stuff is just inherently useful for that sort of thing. And I mean, just overall, it kind of just works out. I could definitely see maybe like a couple Veronicas maybe just pulling this out just for fun. I don't think it's the most ideal thing. It's more like situational, but yeah, I could definitely see a couple more colorless cavalry units just, you know, having this on them if you want otherwise, so sure. Overall though, I feel like Saul is a little interesting because I feel like Saul has a lot of different things that is being brought to the table. It doesn't really hone into like one thing. It just has a lot of good things overall if you want him for fodder. Since, I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of people were happy that Sephiron got into Fae, but when it came down to having the whatever his inheritable staff was and then odd recovery, it just made him just prime fodder for, well, just prime fodder. So they basically did this, but tenfold with Saul. So you've got, I mean, well, a colorless dual skill for cavalry units at the very least. You have Return Plus, which is arguably the best healing skill. Well, at least if you really want movement, that's the best one. It's either that or Rescue, but you probably want Return. Auto Recovery is just infinitely useful if you can get your hands on it. If you use it, like if you just play a bunch of ARD. And then I'm very curious to see if Observant Staff can get any sort of utility. I doubt not, unless you can actually really plan out around it. Mostly because it's a very niche ability, having to be within 2 spaces, or having to be within 3 spaces of like 2 allies that are in a support pair, partner pair. It's very niche, which a lot of people did recognize for Nina, and is easily the case here. Which, I mean, depending on your team planning, it could work out, but it feels really, really situational for it to get any sort of real use. And I guess that's why they went all out with giving it +6 while stats during combat, and then the doll. So I guess that's the thing. I don't know. Maybe we'll see some lunatics out there being extra cheeky with this one, but I don't know. We'll see. Overall, a lot of fodder on Saul. If you use these sort of units, there's going to be something here that you will find useful for pulling him. That's for sure. Next up, we've got Shanna. Like I said before, I think the things that were in my head at least were that, at least at first I thought it was Hinoka, and then I thought Tanya. But then, I don't know, I guess Shanna didn't really click in my head. So it's like, well, there you go. She is a red bow flyer, so got a little something, not necessarily, but you know. Let's just go with her perf first. Rose Quartz Bow. Effective against flying foes, duh. Grants attack +3, okay. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, deals damage equal to 20% of unit speed and grants attacks and speed +6 to unit during combat. Just very straight up. I'm pretty sure this is literally ripped from somebody else, right? Isn't this somewhat of Flying Nino's ability to some extent? I believe it is, if I can find mine really quick. Something along those lines. At least the dealing the extra damage based on the speed, that's the same, especially down to the percentage. The rest of the stuff is, I mean, well, like a joint drive attack and speed, but instead you're getting basically Swift Sparrow 3 minus like 1 speed, but then again, you already double up on that because it's in your A. This is just infinitely going to be a useful skill as is. Although I find it a little bizarre because the rest of her kit, minus like Swift Sparrow and I guess the weapon, of course, everything is a lot more dependent on attack and defense, which I find very bizarre. I believe, isn't her? Yeah, her stats are shown. But before I check it, it feels really weird that it's all that attack and defense when you're running a bow that is conditional on some of your speed as well. So I find that a little bizarre. What are her stats? Okay, so she has a 17 might bow, 55 minus 17. Oh god, now I gotta do quick math. I swear to god. Okay, so 55 minus 17. 38. 42, 23, 27, and then 37 HP. Yeah, makes sense for her class. I can just immediately see, I mean, everybody would kind of expect her to be very offensively inclined given her kit, so I guess I do find it a little bizarre then that there's all that focus on, I guess, like some of the defense, or at least, I don't know, maybe I'm just being a little silly here because they want her to take a little less damage. I guess that's like that overall, but when your defenses are already kind of piss poor as is, it feels very bizarre at the very least. So I don't quite understand why they went with that. Maybe they just put it in just for the sake of, hey, she might as well have it at that rate, I would imagine. Since, I mean, there's probably a good amount of units that could use attack, defense, far trace. And I guess the same could be for near trace as well once we get to that. I can't immediately think of who would use attack, defense, far trace, though. At least off the top of my head. I could think of some others for near trace, just not far trace. So if you know who could probably use this, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see what you guys would think about that. But I feel like I don't necessarily want to go over the skill too much just because, I mean, it's Canto Remainder. So I feel like that's already kind of been understood at this rate. And at least I feel like I understand it a little bit. There's been videos covering at least far trace in particular because of how oddly it can get used compared to near trace, because I don't know if they've patched it out, but the whole far trace thing to where you can save your Canto for a little bit later as long as you use your full movement first, or at least the couple of times before you could trigger off your Canto release when you want to. I believe that's still a thing. I just don't quite remember, but I guess having another version of this is going to be useful. I don't quite remember if the children's banner is already gone or not, but I mean, if it has, when this banner drops, I mean, if you didn't get the far trace before from, I believe, yeah, it was La Rochelle, I have another chance to get another, just with different stats, which, I mean, I guess it works out since hers was speed res, so I guess there you go. It can work out in some situations. I feel like it would work best on units that, well, I mean, obviously have, you know, probably a bow at that rate, maybe even some dagger units, I would recall, or at least I'd reckon. I generally can't really imagine Because I believe the restriction, isn't it flying units and cavalry units? So yeah, definitely a lot more physically oriented units could definitely use this, I would imagine. I feel like actually thinking about it now, if Cantor Remainder, I would check right now, but I don't know if I actually can. If it is on cavalry units as well. Oh yeah, no, it definitely is, yeah. Cavalry and flying, yeah. Because I'm thinking, La Rochelle's literally, she's literally a cavalry unit. I could see this one definitely getting put on Legendary Elite, for example. I mean, duh. Just give him a little bit more extra movement. And to be fair, the attack and defense -3 on foe during combat is going to be nice. You just, I guess because most people would try to run something along the lines of like lull attack defense. You're just not clearing off their bonuses, which, I mean, really depends on what you would want. Do you want to dull their bonuses? Or would you rather have a little bit of extra movement just in case? Which would definitely be nice because that would just give him a little bit of more extra movement to go along with Yorn Zeal, for example. So, but overall, I feel like Shanna's just, you know, an open and closed case. I mean, we know her stats, we know her kit. You know how she's going to play. And I mean, she's a very straightforward unit. I don't think she's going to be super crazy just because, I mean, it's very honest and straightforward what she can do. So it's kind of just like, well, there you go, I guess. And I guess technically Juno is the star of this banner, but mostly in terms of like the lore purposes, she is the star. Not like the actual star of the banner, but you get what I mean. Just stupid technicalities. She is a Blue Mage Flyer. Wow, it's totally not like we've seen this type used before for other Bridal banners. Sure. She looks really good in that outfit, though. Anyway, she has Love Bouquet Plus. I saw this actually briefly, so I think I completely understand this already. Grants attack and res +4 to allies within 2 spaces during combat. And if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack and res +4 to unit during combat. So it's literally just joint drive attack and res. That's literally what this is. So I guess it makes sense. Because I feel like this wouldn't be a bad thing to have on, you know, as an inheritable skill. The only issue is that you don't want it to be like something like super offensive, like attack and speed. Doesn't mean we already have a couple units that already do that sort of thing, but you don't necessarily want to make it inheritable to everyone. I mean, that's why it's restricted to a lot of units' weapons in that regard. I mean, you have a Spear of Saul on Sedith. You have basically on Nino, I believe, Flying Nino, which I mentioned before. You've also got something similar on other units like Halloween Noe, Bohanoka. So you get what I mean. At least those are like, they have more stats there, but yeah, the stats that would globally matter. Otherwise, I mean, you still have attack here, but then you also have a defensive stat. And I reckon that Zealot is probably going to be the same here. He's probably going to have like a Love Axe or whatever his thing is, but it's going to be attack and defense. So I feel like in a way those could be quite useful, at least depending on the units. Probably not super offensive units, at least in terms of somebody who's very speedy. I think this would be a little bit nicer for people who, you know, like to just kind of just chill and tank. Probably just a bunch of army units at that rate. I would imagine that Zealot, his axe, at least version of this, could be another example of something that you could possibly give to Flame Emperor, for example. At least just off the top of my head. That's just pure speculation, observation, just what I think would make sense. So that's an example. Otherwise, she has Ardent Sacrifice. Okay, sure. Aerobatics, sure, works out. I mean, I don't know which of the two is going to be the 4-star skill, but Aerobatics can definitely work out if you need someone to have it in their B slot. And then attack speed form 3. Who was it that had this skill? I believe it was Petra initially. I don't think she's been the only one with it, but making it accessible to somebody who's a 4-star focus definitely works out. And I don't mind that. I kind of wish that we could kind of see her stats, but I could sort of imagine she might have like some okay-ish speed. I mean, she does have, attack speed form 3. I think she's going to be similar to her younger sister, but you know, just a little less premium, just a little bit more straightforward. My whole comparison, I think, at this point would be looking at her compared to Summer Lute, because they're both the same class type in that regard, and probably would want to fill similar stat roles. So I guess it really depends on how much she, I guess in this case, would power creep Lute, if at all. I mean, she easily has the better, well, Lute has the better weapon of the two, which is obvious. But I do wonder, just in terms of stats, how different, or how differentiating that Juno would be compared to Lute. So, we'll see. I don't know. I think overall, it's just, I feel like in a way you could probably say the same things that you would for Summer Lute, you can apply them here for Juno. Which, I mean, that goes back a long way, but it's the same sort of thing. You have basically an offensive-ish, most likely, offensive blue mage flyer. So it's just like, well, we've seen plenty of those, so I think you kind of know straightforward what to go for here, especially when she doesn't bring anything super new to the table. But depending on what else she brings, at least with their stats, you know, she still might be, you know, decently useful if you would like to grab her. And I mean, it's Juno, so I mean, I know there's probably a couple Juno fans, I would imagine. So I mean, there you go. And you have her at 4-star focus, so that definitely works out. Lastly, and this one definitely threw me off for a loop. Echo's Catria is here maining a Bridal alt. What? What? I believe the party, isn't that Thea or Tate's? It's funny because they literally show default Thea and Shanna, so it's like I find it a little funny that she's over here in a Bridal alt with Catria. Echo's Catria, keep in mind. So this one definitely kind of throws me off for a loop and definitely throws my orbs off, even though I don't even have any to begin with, but that's besides the point, okay? So she's bringing over the Wedding Bell Axe. She has Slaying. Start of turn. If unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, this unit can move to a space adjacent to an ally within 2 spaces. And Triangle Attack. Unit and allies within 2 spaces. If unit initiates combat, or if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack and speed +6 to unit during combat. So Triangle Attack. If unit initiates combat and 2 or more allies with triangle attack within 2 spaces, unit attacks twice. Wait, huh? I'm so confused. Wait. Oh, okay. That's how she's actually able to get triangle attack off. You can give it to those allies within 2 spaces. So, okay, that makes sense. You just need to be able to be be nearby to an ally. At least it's going within 2 spaces. So, I mean, that works out. You're just hoping that you're basically banking on being within 2 spaces of 2 units at the very least, and then moving them in so that you can do a triangle attack, which I don't think is actually that hard to pull off. I would imagine it just seems very, very, very reliant on that. So, I don't know, to see how that'll go. I mean, sure, we'll see, I guess. Otherwise, Moonbow, attack speed push 4, speed defense rain 3, attack AD near trace 3. So, who was it that I was thinking about that could use this really? Oh yeah, now I remember. Ashnard. He could definitely use this easily. I mean, there's already a bunch of like other skills that you could probably use on him, but not only are these the stats that he would care about, I mean, you're also giving him Canto Remainder 1, so I feel like this could be a win-win for him, in a way. It just feels like they're really just giving a lot for Ashnard to just mess around with, and I actually don't mind that. I feel like Ashnard is kind of a fun unit to mess around with, and being able to have more toys for him is really nice, and this is basically your next toy at that rate, if you want it. So, what are her stats? I believe they're over here. Okay, so you've got 56 minus 16. Oh god. Wait, no, I don't have to do math there. That's just 40 base attack, 41 speed, 28 defense, 23 res, and then 40 HP. Yeah, I mean, overall solid stats, I guess, if you want to call it that. And then her Harmonize skill. Aggressive following effect. Okay, so Resonant Blades, Desperation, and if unit initiates combat, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Really now? Okay. Huh. I guess that does work out for, why can't I think? It helps for counteracting stuff like Wary in that regard, or just people who have follow-up notification. Because if then you have this, I would imagine that you would just knock it down to a speed check, right? I think? So, oh god, does that mean I really need this? I guess I really do need to somehow pull for this, even though I have like no orbs. So, wow, I'm screwed. Oh god, but I mean, overall, I feel like this just kind of works out in our case, especially with the fact that, I mean, Blades works out, increases the offensive stats, which you would like to do. Desperation works out, especially if you can pull off triangle attack. I mean, you're basically pulling off, because I need to remember fully. Yeah, you're basically going to get off 4 hits just simultaneously. Like, you are going to kill whatever you were going to kill. I mean, everybody kind of knows that at that rate, but being able to get that for free just out of your harmony. Special skill here, using something like Heavy Blade as well. It says, I mean, you're at 40 base attack. That's going to stack up pretty damn nicely, if I do say so myself. So that definitely works out in Catria's favor to pull something like that off. I mean, if you really want to do Gale Force, I mean, by all means, go ahead. I mean, it works out. You already have such offensive stats that you can probably get away with not running a damage special. And again, like I said, if you can reliably set up the triangle attack and that sort of stuff, you can get it pretty quickly, I would imagine. Especially if, well, I mean, you get 2 hits in. That should knock it down, actually. Yeah. If you can set up your triangle attack, you kill the enemy within those 2 hits, like you have to kill the 2, you'll get your Gale Force immediately. And then you can go again. And then your trace will activate, you get some Canto, so... Yeah, I think overall, if you can set that up, anybody you go up against is kind of screwed, let's be honest. I think it'll be a little harder to pull off in Aetheraids. I say that mostly just for Aetheraids offense, just because I feel like most of the time you don't really, you wouldn't bait with this unit. You'd have to send them in. But then you need the other 2 units that have the triangle attack effect on to go in. So it's just like, I don't know. And I guess I'm only just realizing this now. You're giving the effect to allies within 2 spaces. So you're basically giving the ability to other people. You're giving a skill brave to people, conditionally if there are allies nearby. So if you are running some weird Gale Force strats with this Catria, I'm sorry, but I think this just kind of just trumps everything. If you can just go with brave hits with a Gale Force strat like that, okay, maybe you might just take over ARO. And I guess at this, I would imagine this could work maybe a little nicer on ARD, especially if you have like some weird Wings of Mercy strats going after some units that just, will go in and just, TP over to probably, well, this unit, hopefully. At least that's what I would recommend, or at least that's what I think ideally that's what you would want. Because, I mean, again, she's a triangle attack unit for free, so it's just like, well, there you go. I could see some cases where some people are definitely going to figure out how this works out, so at first I feel like I was kind of undermining this, but thinking about it now, This is kind of this is kind of nuts. It's not as nuts as I think it would be, just because it's very like triangle attacks always dependent because you need 3 units in total to pull it off. So it's always very janky. But if you can pull it off, then it's just dirty, literally. I don't mind what I see here, and even if you don't even get off the triangle attack, you're still a very offensive unit as is. And I guess comparing this to my dual at least just for easy comparisons in my head, I like that Catria here has slaying. I feel like that would have been something maybe a little nicer for my dual but at the same time it's like, it's fine. But I mean, in a way you're kind of comparing 2 somewhat different units. I mean, one's flying, one's infantry. I mean, they're both axe units, but I don't know. They fill 2 different roles, but I guess in terms of the whole hyper offensive sort of thing, Catria does that better, but at the same time, you know, as an infantry unit, you're gonna have more stats overall, and you can tank a lot more than this Catria ever would. But at the same time, she also has Canto, and dual doesn't, so yeah, kind of pain, but I guess it's a little something to note that we finally have another Echoes unit, finally. Well, I didn't expect it to be an alt of an alt, literally. A Catria alt, a Valentia Catria alt, but then also an alt of that Catria alt. Like, in a way, it makes no sense, but at the same time, I don't even know. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I have no orbs, so I'm screwed either way, so it doesn't even matter. But you know what? There you go. That's the banner. Zealot, quickly, if I can look at him. Yeah, it's an Axe. So, Axe Cavalier. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he's literally a paladin, so yeah, it's a Groom in white. So it's basically just a very snowy filled Arctic banner. I feel like, because thinking about the whole atmosphere and the name of the banner, it makes me think of Bridal and it's just like, if that never happened, this is probably where it would at that case. Only because of, well, I just feel like it goes hand in hand, you know? But, wow. It happens though. Alright, so, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you're going to be pulling on the banner, what you like about the banner, what you dislike about it. And please leave me some condolences. We have an Echoes unit that I'm not going to be able to pull for because I have no orbs. And that's what you call enough in the chat. All right, my name's been Val, and I appreciate you guys for watching the videos and yeah, listening through it. So, I'm sorry, I just completely thrown off by a Valentia Catria alt, but you know what, it's fine, whatever. All right, take it easy, everybody, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.